Good morning, students. The second part of the Gupta's history is here. Today we will study about the Gupta's administration. As you know, the period of the Gupta's emperor and their successors saw the gradual disappearance of the republic form of government. The monarchical form of government was the most prevalent form of government during the Gupta's period. Monarchical form of government where the king is the highest authority and the theory of the divinity of the king became very popular during this period. The Gupta's kings were compared to different gods like Yama, Varun, Indra and Kuber. They were compared to Vishnu as regard their function of preserving and protecting the people. The Gupta's king enjoyed a large number of power which covered the political, administrative, military and judicial field. They were the commander-in-chief of the army. Samudragupta, Chandragupta II and Sakant Gupta personally lead the armies. The king appointed all the governors and important military and civil officers. The governors and the officers had to work under the control and guidance of the king. The king were the source of all honors and titles, and any property that was unclaimed went into the coffer of the king. The king also took the title of Parameshwara, Maharaja Dhiraj, and many other titles. Despite the divine element attributed to Gupta's king, the Brahmins, as the chief custodians and interpreter of law, exercised a control on the royal power. They were the council of ministers, that is known as the Mantri Parishad, and consist of prince and the highest officials, the feudatories, and the higher officer were the Kumara, Amatyas, and the Sandvigraka. The officer of the Sandvigraka, Minister of Peace and War, was there, first appeared under Samudragupta and Harishina, held these titles. There were other officers connected with land and transactions. Revenue systems has been collected mostly in kind and rich peasant probably paid in cash. Provincial and local administration was there. The provincial administration, the core of the Guptas, directly controlled by the Guptas, were divided in bhuktis, each of which was placed under charge of Uparika. The Uparikas was governor appointed by the king. At the same time, the village administration was there, headed by the village headmen, and the town administrations was as there were very town janpadas which issued their seal and coin were administered by committees of 5. Some towns were administered by kind of parishad, and the feudal nature of politics was there. The modern states is credited with comprehensive competence based on centralized controls. And the Gupta's period is known as the golden age in the Indian history because of the highest level of civilization and culture of the period. Education system was there during the Gupta's period. Education was given the utmost importance. There is an evidence from the intellectuals output in various fields like literature, science, mathematics, astronomy, astrology, and medicine. There were many centers of learning, including the Patliputra, Balvi, Vijayans, Ayodhya, and Nasik. According to the inscription, the teachers were landed Brahmins who were known as the Acharyas or Upadhyas. Sometimes they were given the titles of Bhattas. In the Gupta's period, the Jains and the Buddhist system of education assumed a great different dimensions. Learning began with the oral method, shifted to the reading of literary texts. The monasteries has libraries and important manuscripts were copied and stored. Students from other countries like China, South East Asia came to the Buddhist monasteries for education. Higher education was given equal importance during Gupta's period as an evident from number of universities which existed during the period. The most common university were the Takshila and the Nalanda. The Takshila University, one of the few centers in the world of higher education. Now let us talk about the Nalanda University, which is the most renowned educational institution of the ancient times. Situated at Nalanda in Rajgiri in Bihar, lot of information of the Nalanda universities is given in the inscription and the account of Hun Sang, a Chinese Buddhist scholar who visited India during the reigns of Harshvardhana. The university has imposed buildings and at least 8 colleges built by different patrons, including one by Bala Putra Deva, king of Samudra, According to Huensang, the whole university was enclosed by brick walls. At the same time, students came there from Korea, Mongolia, Japan, China, Tibetan Ceylon, and various parts of India. The subject of study at Nalanda University was Vedic, logic, grammar, medicines, Shankar, Yoga, Nyaya, and the Buddhist work of the different schools. It was not only an ordinary university but a postgraduate institution to which admission was very different and difficult. Before admissions, an examination was held in which hardly 20% students passed and the rest were rejected. Only the most brilliant were admitted to the university. It is beacons of light up to the 12th century. That is, Nalanda University was a beacons of light up to 12th century when it was destroyed by Muhammad bin Bakhtiar Khilji, a general of Muhammad Ghori, and today the remains of the magnificence given today. In the field of science also great contributions was there in the field of science, astronomy, medicine, metallurgy. Aryabhatta, the most and greatest astronomer and mathematicians during the reigns of Gupta's dynasty, wrote 2 books including the Aryabhatyams and Surya Siddhanta. The culture has reached a highest peak during the Gupta's period. It was well-organized states under succession of versatile and mighty rulers who led it from one point of achievement to another. During the Gupta's period, temples were built with elaborate details, and under the earlier period, when wood and other perishable material was used for temple constructions, the temple in Gupta's period were made of solid material like brick and stones. One of the most important examples of the Gupta's period temples is the Vaishnu temples at Deogarh. In the field of literature also, it placed Prakritic not only in inscription but also in religions and philosophical literature. Sanskrit became the language of the landed and retained its supreme position for thousands of years. Guptas made Sanskrit official language for administrative purpose and was used in official document as well as inscriptions. The Guptas were distinguished by a number of writers whose contribution vastly enriched the different branch of Indian literatures. Kalidasa, one of the greatest poet and playwrights India has ever produced, was in the period of the Guptas. The 3 dramatic work of Kalidasa was Vikrama Veshyams, Malvika Agnimitrams, and Avinanjan Saguntalam narrate the love story of King Dushyant and Saguntala, whose son Bharat later became the king of, and the Meghduta, the cloud messenger. Although the subject matter of Kalidasa's work is love, nature, and beauty, they nevertheless give reliable information about the government, society, and religions of the Gupta's period. They also give trace of political history. So this is about the Gupta's period, and because of this only the Gupta's period is known as the golden period in the Indian history, because it has progressed in all the field of art, architectures, in the building of temples, and in the management of the administrations, culture, literatures, and everywhere they had high progress. That is why it is known as the age of the Gupta's period. Thank you, students. This much for today only.